Hi, my name is Emily and I'll be guiding you through a gentle yoga class. This is an intermediate level class and we'll be focusing on strengthening the legs and the back body. Before we get started, just a couple things. So for today's class, we will need a strap. If you don't have one, you can use a long towel. And then we'll also be using a block, and then a blanket is optional. As always, honor your body and what you need. So if that means slowing down, taking a break, or skipping a pose at any point, follow what you need to do. All right, let's get started. We're gonna meet on our back. So take your time and just lower all the way down. And we're gonna start in Supta Baddha Konasana, bringing the soles of the feet together and then butterfly the knees open. You can always slide some blankets or blocks underneath the knees for a little added support. And if this doesn't feel good for you, just extend the legs out. So bringing the hands to the belly or down by the sides. And just allow your eyes to close or your gaze to soften. And these first couple moments of class are really about shifting away from your day, whatever's been going on, and just coming into the present moment. And just starting with a couple rounds of breath. On the inhales, filling up from the belly. And gentle, open mouth exhales, letting the air go. So on your inhales, you're breathing in fresh, new energy. Exhales, letting go of anything stale, anything not serving you. So inhale, fresh, new energy. Exhale, anything stale. Take about 3 more full, deep rounds of breath. And then sealing the lips and just starting to breathe in and out through your nose. And using your breath as your anchor, your guide throughout class. So if you notice at any point holding your breath, or if it starts to speed up, that's normally a sign to ease back. This is an intermediate style class, so it'll be a medium pace. All right, when you're ready, take the hands, close the knees, and draw the knees in towards the chest. And just find a little rock side to side. Massage the lower back and spine. Just letting go of any tension you're holding there. And then take the hands and interlace them underneath the right knee and extend the left leg straight out in front. Flexing through the left foot. The left toes point up towards the sky and then drawing the right knee up and in towards the right armpit. So you're finding a gentle compression on the right side, the ascending colon. And just find some circles in the right foot, starting to warm up the ankle. And then when you're ready, switching out the direction. And then keeping the right knee holding Keeping the right hand holding onto the knee, take your left arm and reach it overhead. So a long line of energy from the left fingertips to the left foot. And you may notice a little bit of a stretch along the left hip flexor, so right in front of this left thigh. And for some of us, it may be a little bit more intense, or you may feel a little bit less sensation. But wherever you are, just taking 2 more rounds of breath, keeping the left foot flexed. And then releasing the left hand and taking a hold of your strap. We're going to come into a hamstring stretch. So bringing the strap to the ball mound of the right foot. Having one side of the strap in either hand, elbows heavy by the sides, maybe a soft bend in the right knee. On the inhales, focusing on finding length, and the exhales, focusing on finding depth. About 4 to 5 more rounds of breath. Really focusing on opening the back of the right leg, the right hamstring. Finding that edge, that place of sensation, not too much, not too little. And then taking the straps, both sides, into the left hand, we're going to allow the leg to fall over towards the right. And then the right arm can extend out at shoulder height. You'll notice a stretch on the outside of the right leg and hip. You may not need to go very far to find this stretch. So we're getting into the IT band, letting go of some of that tension. So on your exhales, allow yourself to soften. Remember, it's not a practice of force. And then slowly back through center, release the strap. And then slowly lower the right leg down towards the ground and just pause at the bottom. Take a moment. Notice how the right leg feels. Maybe a little bit longer, more open. Just take a full breath cycle here. When you're ready, drawing the left knee up and in, hands interlaced below the knee, drawing the knee towards the left armpit. And then remembering to flex through the right foot, keeping the right leg active. Finding a gentle compression on the descending colon. Just using the strength of the arms to find that depth. Left hand stays below the left knee. Take the right arm, reach it up and overhead. You may feel a little bit more sensation in the front of the right hip, the hip flexor. Just finding that long line of energy. Steady, even breath in and breath out. And then bring the right hand back to the knee, and just a couple times, rolling out the left ankle. Making sure to go in both directions. And then once again, take a hold of your strap. Ball mound of the left foot. Maybe a soft bend in the knee. Use the strength of the arms. And just building some awareness in the body. Tuning into where you feel the sensation. Noticing the intensity. Becoming aware of any differences between the two sides. Oftentimes one side's a little bit more open, the other side may be a little tighter. It's not that we're judging it, but really just finding that awareness. We'll take the straps into the right hand and draw the left leg over towards the right. And the left arm can extend out at shoulder height. Definitely feel this side. Keep flexing through the left foot. And breathing into any tension, any tightness. Allowing it to dissipate on the exhales. And just remembering that this is a practice, so things don't happen overnight. And it's really a practice of undoing. A lot of times we think of yoga as doing poses, but really undoing the things that are getting in the way, like tension, beliefs that we have of what we can or cannot do. And then slowly release. And then the left leg with control slowly lowers back down. So even now, finding strength in the legs, and just pause at the bottom. Take a breath in, breath out. Beautiful. And then planting the feet on the ground, bringing them hip width distance, and then walking the heels in towards the glutes. Now take a hold of your block. If you don't have one, that's okay. You can still do this pose. I'm gonna take the block at this lowest setting and place it in between the inner thighs. And I'm gonna squeeze the block with my inner thighs. So that's gonna help me engage them. We're gonna move into bridge pose. Arms down by the sides. Press into the feet and then tuck, curl, lift the hips up towards the sky. Pressing the earth away, feeling the thighs activate. Keep gently pressing the block to find the inner thighs. Squeeze your glutes for 3, 2, 1. Slowly with control from the upper back to the low back, rolling all the way down. And pause at the bottom. We'll do 2 more rounds. Press into the feet. Lift your hips up towards the sky. We're strengthening in the legs, the glutes, and the core. With control, slowly lower down, 1 vertebrae at a time. Once more, press into the feet, lift the hips up. We're gonna hold here for 5, squeeze the block for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower all the way down. You can take the block and place it over to the side. And then take a moment, hug the knees in. Give them a little squeeze, just let it go. Rock it out side to side. Moving into some core work. Find tabletop legs, knees directly over the hips, belly pulled in. So the low back isn't lifting away from the ground, low back stays connected. Reach the fingertips towards the sky. We'll be finding dead bug. Start by extending the right leg and hover, flexing through the foot. With control, slowly draw it back in. Extend the left leg out, hovering it off the ground, only as low as you can keep the core tight. Draw it back in. You can continue like that, or to add on, right leg, and then the left arm reaches overhead. And coming back to center. Left leg and the right arm reaches overhead. Come back to center. So find your layer. Maybe just focusing on the legs, or maybe adding in that coordination. Once again, it's not about speed. Keep the belly pulled in tight, low back connected to the ground. Energy reaching through the fingers and the toes. So strong, almost there. Let's do 2 more. Last one. And release. Happy baby. Draw the knees outside of the ribs. Let it go. One more core exercise, tabletop legs, static hold. So belly pulls in, and then take the hands, press them against the thighs. Imagine the thighs are a wall. So you're finding that resistance, hands pressing into the legs, legs into the hands. Last 10 seconds, you can do it. Press a little bit more. Belly pulled in for 5, 4, 3, 2, release on 1. Nice job. Taking your time, rolling over to one side. And then we'll gently press up and find our way into a comfortable seat. I'll meet you there. Okay, so now we're in a seated position. You can sit cross-legged. This is a great time if you want to slide a blanket underneath the hips, especially to avoid any rounding in the lower back. So take a moment, get comfortable, and then resting the hands on the knees, sitting tall. And let's close the eyes or just soften the gaze for a moment. And feeling the sit bones heavy, long in the spine, crown of the head reaching towards the ceiling. And then on your next inhale, reach the arms out and up. Palms touch, and on the exhale, hands come into heart center, draw the energy in. And just take a moment here. Set an intention for your practice. Where do you want to direct your energy? Maybe you come into our group intention of finding a firm foundation. Rooting down so we can grow tall, so we can expand. Together, let's inhale. And an open mouth exhale, send it out. Beautiful. Release the hands down towards the knees. Eyes can remain closed, and just drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. Come through center, over towards the left. So a couple times, just go side to side. Relaxing in the head and neck. And then pause on the right side. Take the right hand on top of the head without pulling. Just use it as a gentle weight. Left shoulder softens away from the ear. Letting go of tension, stress, any tensing. And gently release. Let's switch it out. So over towards the left hand comes on top of the head. Remember, we're not pulling. Couple rounds of breath here. Creating length and space along the right side of the neck. And then gently release a couple more times, go side to side. If it feels safe and okay in your neck, option to do a full circle. Just one time in either direction. Come back to center. Sit nice and tall. We're going to come into a seated twist next. So taking your left hand to your right knee, and then right fingertips just to the base of the spine. First, grow tall and lengthen. And on your exhale, gently start to twist. Keeping your heart lifted and your shoulders soft. And both hip bones heavy on the ground. One more breath. And then gently release. We'll switch it out, taking your right hand, left knee. Left fingertips slightly behind you. First, reach the crown of the head up. On your exhale, gently twist. So we're not forcing it. Keep the spine long. 2 more rounds of breath. And then slowly come back to center. Rest the hands on the knees. We'll find some torso circles. You can close the eyes, soften the gaze. Just start by reaching the chest forward towards the right. Shoulders draw back, and then going towards the left. And then circling back, rounding the spine, holding onto the knees. So just a couple more. It's like you're stirring a pot of soup. One more round in this direction. And then pausing at center and switch it out. Balancing out the body. One more. And then slowly come back to center, lengthen in the spine, deep breath in. Cleansing breath out. Blink your eyes open. We'll meet in a tabletop position next. So coming onto the hands and knees, maybe placing a blanket or padding underneath the knees. Spread the fingers wide, shoulders over wrist, hips over knees, tops of the feet on the ground. Cat-cow. On the inhales, drop the belly. Lift your chest and your tailbone, gaze up. And on the exhale, cat, press the earth, rounding in the spine, gaze towards the belly. And just finding your own pace. So on the inhales, cow pose, heart reaches forward. And exhales, cat, arching the spine. And feel free to find any organic movement that feels good. That may look like moving the hips side to side, shaking the head yes and no. Really taking this time to explore the body. Holding in any spaces of resistance. Let's do one more round. And then return back into neutral tabletop. So that's a flat back, and feel the belly engage. So the core pulls in. We'll move into balancing tabletop. Start by extending the right toes back. Holding here for a moment, keep the hips even. And when you're ready, float the right leg off the ground up to hip height. Energy reaching through the toes. Now you can stay here. If you feel really sturdy, option to reach the left fingertips forward. And we're just gonna hold here, reaching energy through the fingertips and toes. We're gonna add in a tiny pull, strengthening the legs. You're just lifting and lowering about 1/2 inch. Belly stays in for 3, 2, 1. Release the hand, release the knee. Dog wagging its tail. Bring the gaze over the right shoulder towards the right hip. Back to center, gaze over the left towards the left hip. And back to center. Second side, extend the left toes back. Pause here. Make sure the hips are even. We're not opening the hips. So left hip in line with the right. When you're ready, start to lift the left leg up to hip height. Find that stability, press the earth away, belly pulls in. Remember, you can stay here. If you feel sturdy and you're ready to move on, right hand reaches forward. Find that length. Engage the left glute. Tiny pulses. Feel the back of the left thigh working for 3, for 2, for 1. Release the hand, release the knee. Child's pose, knees out wide, toes to touch, hips come towards the heels. Now, if this isn't comfortable for you, just feel free to find a resting pose that is. Just a couple rounds of breath here. So just using these moments of stillness to check back in with yourself. Notice how your practice is feeling today. And just recognizing that every day is a little different. Some days feel more sturdy, more rooted and grounded. Other days a little bit more up in the air. But wherever you are, just come into the present. Work with whatever is arising. And just finding the breath. Take your time, slowly press up. We're gonna find our way up into standing, so however it's easiest for you, and I'll meet you there. Bring your feet about hip width distance, arms down by the sides. And just take a moment, feel strength in the legs and really feel your feet rooted to the ground. Notice even lifting up through the quads. So even though we're just standing here, we're still finding strength in the body. And just close the eyes for a moment. Let's take a breath in and breath out. And just returning to your intention one more time. Breath in and breath out. All right, blink the eyes open, Sun A. Expand arms overhead, grow tall. Remember, palms face in, shoulders relax down the back. Lift up through the side waist and pull the belly in. And then taking a hold of the left wrist, side body stretch, reach up and over towards the right. Now notice the left shoulder isn't coming forward. Keep it down and back so we're open across the chest. And then come back to center. Take a hold of the right wrist, up and over towards the left. Shoulders stay away from the ears, keeping the weight centered. And then return to center. Gentle back bend, cactus the arms, lifting the chest up and back. We're not crunching in the low back. Slight engagement of the glutes. And then reach the arms back overhead. And then hands come into heart center. Pause here. Take a breath in. And breath out. Beautiful. We'll flow through a little bit faster, 2 more times. Release the arms down. Inhale, expand up. And on the exhale, side body stretch over towards the right. Breathe into the left side. Come back to center. And on an exhale, up and over towards the left. Inhale, center. And exhale, gentle back bend. Cactus the arms, open across the collarbone. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands come into heart center. 1 full breath here. Last time, release the arms down. Inhale, expand up, grow tall. And then over towards the left. Come back to center. Over towards the other side. And then return to center. Last time, gentle back bend. Shine the heart forward. Inhale, reach. And exhale, hands draw back and pause here. Pressing the palms together, keeping strong in the arms. Breath in. Breath out. Beautiful. Release the arms down. We're going to work into strengthening in the legs some more. So you can keep this nice wide stance, hip width distance. Coming into chair pose, start to sit the hips back like you're sitting in a really small chair. And then bring the hands to heart center or reach them forward. So if you gaze down, you're able to see the toes. The heart is lifted. See if you can sit a little deeper. Notice the engagement in the thighs, in the glutes, and the core. And then slowly straighten the legs, release. Now one time, press into the ball mounds of the feet. Find one point of focus to gaze at and start to lift your heels off the ground. Now pressing into the big toes so you're not rolling onto the pinky toe side. It's okay if you move. And then with control, slowly lower down. Nice, we'll do it again. Bend into the knees, sit the hips back. Keep the chest lifted so we're not rounding forward. Maybe this time you reach the fingertips forward or keep them at heart center. Keep the shoulders plugged in. Sit a little deeper. And then come back. Straighten the legs, hands to heart. Pause here. Once again, press into the feet Working the calf muscles, lift the heels up, grow tall, one point of focus, and then slowly lower down. Nice, we're just gonna do it one more time. Chair pose, hips back, fingertips reach forward, strong arms. Imagine you're pressing a beach ball. Sit a little deeper, and then release, hands to heart. Take a breath. Last time, press into the ball mounds of the feet. Start to float the heels up. It's okay if the heels fall for a moment. Engage the core. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower with control. Nice, release the arms. Take a moment, shake it out, let it go. All right, we'll be moving into Warrior 2 next. So widen your stance, and we're gonna start with the left toes pointing towards the top of your mat. And we're all gonna have a slightly different length and stance, so find what feels stable to you. And just start hands at the hips, and the right toes just pointing towards the side. And just a couple times, start to bend and straighten into the left knee. Beginning to wake up the hips. And just notice, so the knee is going in line with the toes, making sure that the knee isn't buckling in. So we're finding that external rotation, opening in the front hip. And this next time, finding stillness. So the knee is directly over the ankle. Hands can stay at the hips, or options, start to expand them out at shoulder height. Energy reaching through the fingertips. Soften in the shoulders. And just gazing either towards the side wall or just past your front hand. So find your drishti, your point of focus. Let's add in a little movement. As we straighten both legs, bring the arms overhead and the palms touch. And as you exhale, it's like you're moving through honey. Press the arms back down, bend into the left knee again. Let's do 2 more. Reach up. And then back into Warrior 2. One more time. And let's hold here for 3, 2, 1. Hands to the hips, straighten the left leg. Then turn the toes in so the feet are parallel. And then bring the heels in and the toes to point out. And just notice, take a couple times, bend into the knees in line with the toes. We'll come into star pose, expand the arms overhead. And on the exhale, goddess, bend into the knees. Hands come into heart center. You're going straight down. 3 more. Inhale, reach and expand, grow tall. And exhale, goddess, sit low, hands to heart. Nice, 2 more times. Inhale, reach. And exhale, goddess. 1 last time. Inhale, reach up. This time we're gonna hold here in goddess. Hands at heart center. Shoulders directly over the hips. We're here for 5. Stay strong for 4. Last 3, 2, 1. Nice. Straighten the legs. Take a moment. Turn the toes in. Parallel the feet. We're gonna move into the second side. So this time, bring the right toes to point towards the back of your mat. You can lengthen your stance to the distance that feels good to you. And I have heel to heel alignment. Some people may have heel to the middle of the back foot alignment. So you can play around, find what feels comfortable. Hands to the hips, and just a couple times bend and straighten through the right knee. And just noticing how the hips are feeling. Making sure the knee is going in line with the toes. All right, this time let's find stillness. Knee directly over the ankle. Chest is lifted, shoulders are soft. Hands can stay at the hips, or if you're ready, expand them out shoulder height. And either gaze towards the side or over the front hand. Now sometimes what tends to happen is one arm is a little higher than the other, so just take a moment, make sure they're at the same height. And then feel the energy of the legs drawing towards the midline. So you're really activating in the legs, the inner thighs. Now straighten the front leg, reach the arms overhead, palms touch, and then bend into the right knee, press the arms back down. 2 more, move at your pace. And moving with energy in the body. Last one. And we're gonna hold here, warrior 2. Cultivating strength and courage for 3, 2, 1. Nice. Release, hands to the hips. Let's turn the toes in. You can shorten the stance. We're gonna lower halfway down for a fold, getting a stretch in the back of the legs. Hands come to the hips. You can have a soft bend in the knees. You'll keep a flat back. When you're ready, start to hinge from the hips. Make sure the belly's pulled in tight. Maybe you lower this far, or maybe halfway down. Find what feels best for you. All right, breathe into the back of the legs, chest reaching forward. Let's take one more breath. And then slowly, with control, rise back up. Nice. Let's bring the feet back together. Arms down by the sides, and just take a moment, stand tall. Let's take a deep breath in. And an open mouth exhale. Beautiful. We're gonna make our way back down onto the mat. And we're gonna be lowering down onto the belly to really work on some strengthening for the spine. So take your time, we'll meet on the belly. So we're gonna start with cobra pose. See if you can zip the legs together, and then hands are underneath the shoulders. It's like you have cricket arms. Now bring the gaze down. On your next inhale, head, chest, and shoulders lifts up, pressing into the tops of the feet, into the thigh bones. Now keep the back of the neck long, so we're not gazing forward, breaking in the neck. We want a long back of the neck. Little weight in the hands. And then slowly lower. 2 more rolling cobras. On your inhale, lift up. Press into the thighs, into the tops of the feet, and lower with control. 1 more. On your inhale, lift up, hold here for 3, 2, 1. Let's release. Hands underneath the forehead, gaze down. Just feel the rise and fall of the belly breath. All right, we'll move into Sphinx. So bring the legs hip width distance, and then coming on to the forearms, creating the shape of a number 11. All right, so notice that my elbows are directly underneath my shoulders, and then you're reaching the chest forward, drawing the shoulder blades down and back. Finding a gentle compression in the back. Just keeping the gaze straight forward. Maybe you close the eyes. Just Couple rounds of breath here. Keep focusing on pressing the forearms into the ground. Feel as if you're drawing the elbows in towards the ribs, as if you're going to pull yourself forward, finding a stretch in the belly. And then take your time. Slowly release, and we're going to press back into child's pose. Knees wide, toes touch, forehead melts down. Take your time, gently walk the hands back in. We're gonna make our way onto our back. You're almost there, just starting to slow our practice back down. So all the way down onto the back and feet on the ground. We'll come into supine figure 4. Right ankle on the left thigh and gently pressing the right knee forward. So you'll find a stretch in the outer right hip and glute. This also stretches the piriformis, so finding a nice release. You can stay there or start to thread the needle, float the left leg, right hand through the hole and hands interlaced behind the left thigh. And just remember, it's not a practice of force, so if it's a lot of straining to lift the left leg, keep the foot on the ground. So this is really about what feels good in your body and how you're gonna get the most benefits from your practice. And sometimes we think that if we push past that edge, we'll get there a little quicker. But really, a lot of times, it's just finding that place where it's not too much, not too little. That's where you're gonna find the most progress, right at that edge. And then gently release, and let's switch it out. Left ankle to right thigh. Press the knee forward to find the stretch. And just see how this side feels. Maybe you start to float the right leg, left hand through the hole and hands interlaced behind the right thigh. And you'll probably notice that you're not perfectly balanced, so maybe you're feeling the stretch a little bit more on one side. So there might be little adjustments that you need to make, whether that's going a little bit further, deeper, or maybe it means easing back. And keeping it active, the knee pressing forward. If the right leg is lifted, gently drawing it closer in. And then gently unwind, releasing. And just give the knees a little squeeze. Draw them in towards the chest. Let's find an easy twist. Drop the knees towards the left and the hips scoot towards the right. Now you can always place a blanket or a block in between the knees or underneath them. And then the arms can come out at shoulder height. Or maybe you cactus the arms. And just gently wringing out the body, rejuvenating the spine, bringing out anything that's no longer serving you, a thought, a habit, some physical tension. And then slowly coming back through center and switching over towards the other side. Knees towards the right, hips towards the left. And just remember that we're not forcing the body. Especially at the end of practice, we're slowing down. We're letting go of any effort. And turning to an easy, natural breath. And then come back to center. Before Shavasana, find happy baby. Grab behind the thighs, calves, or outside edges of the feet. And just gently rock it side to side. And then draw the knees in, give them a final hug, thanking them for everything that they do. And then gently release into final Shavasana. Take up space, maybe rolling a blanket underneath the knees. And just allow yourself to be heavy, to feel supported, to ground down. Any thoughts, ideas, stories arising and floating on by. Just giving yourself this time to pause, to refill. I'll be here for a little bit longer. I'll guide you out when it's time. When you're ready, deepen your breath. Bring small movements back into the body, fingers, toes, wrists, and ankles. When you're ready, arms floating overhead, full body stretch. And then taking your time, gently rolling over to your favorite side and slowly pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat. So come to seated. Sit tall, eyes closed and shoulders soft. Let's bring the hands into heart center. And just thanking yourself for showing up to your mat today. Let's take a deep breath in. And an open mouth exhale. Bowing forward to seal our practice. From my heart to yours, namaste. Thank you for showing up to your mat today and practicing with me.